Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of backstory. Okay. Tiny itty bitty bit of backstory, and then we can understand a few things a little bit better. Okay. Um. Looks like your prediction about Zerker and Sneeko was right. All my predictions are correct, except for when they're not, and then we forget about those. Okay. My parents are lovely people. I love them very much. They make questionable financial decisions, and they've always made questionable financial decisions. A lot of people in the United States, my parents especially, have an issue when it comes to kind of living above their means. So people will earn money, spend money, earn money, spend money, earn money, spend money, which is just not good. So my parents have historically not really been that good with money. But despite issues, any issues we've ever had have been just them making mistakes. I don't think they're bad people. I think they're good people. They try their best. For instance, my mom, as much as she hates herself for it, let me stay in Omaha to finish high school, which apparently was really important because I guess my high school was really good. Even though she moved out when I was 15, my dad let me stay in Omaha, even though he moved when I was 16. I know for both of them, moving away from me and not making me go to Florida with them when I was 16 was difficult for both of them, very difficult for both of them. And but obviously, I guess it ended up being massively beneficial for me. Yeah, so I know they made a lot of sacrifices to blah, 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 all this bullshit. Okay, you understand, whatever. So 5 years ago, I think I told you on stream, around 5 years ago, my mom got diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and she's kind of had a slow progression. Like, she's still doing okay today. But I was chatting a few days ago, because Nathan and I have been hanging out with my parents, going over the house or whatever. And I find out that my mom is getting to more challenging stages of her disease. Not super horrible yet, but if I had to guess, probably in like 2 or 3 years, probably be kind of bad. So I'm trying to figure out what my dad's plan is, what my mom's plan is, and everything going on. And we're at a... where am I at here? Jesus. There's like random shit. There's like 2 things I need from you guys. Or 2 things I was going to ask. The long story short is part of the motivation for me taking my kid contract and everything is basically what I told my parents is as long as they can satisfy a couple conditionals, what I said is I would pay off, I won't give a number, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. If my dad will retire early and then hang out with my mom for a couple years while she's still like decently mentally functioning so that she can do all of her stuff. There's a couple of these conditionals though. One is a thing that I need help with. One is my parents have really big hearts when it comes to animals, and they will not let me give any of these fucking cats to a pound because my mom doesn't want them killed, and it's destroying their lives. They've gotten it down from 23 to 13 cats, all right? I told them they can keep 2, all right? If you live in like the Miami, Florida area, or if you live in Florida at all, if you can take care of a cat because you like a cat and you won't eat it or kill it or whatever, these cats have, pretty sure they have all their vaccinations, all their, like they're healthy. I think one is like a neurological issue, but like they've got all their shots. They've all been, I think, spayed and neutered and everything. If you can take care of a cat, and if you live in Florida, email me at my contact email, and I'll try to like arrange something. It would be super helpful because the alternative is I'm taking these cats out in the back and I'm gonna shoot them one at a time because my mom is destroying her life. They're spending like $1,000 a month taking care of these stupid fucking animals, okay? Which drives me fucking crazy, okay? So if you don't want me to shoot the cats and put them on 4chan, okay? If you're capable of adopting a cat, putting in a loving household, blah blah blah, and you're okay like sending my mom pictures if she asks to make sure that everything is okay. That would be helpful. That's the first thing. And then you'd have to drive to pick them up, I guess. This is down in my parents live down in like the Homestead area. Number one. The second thing is, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to be doing this yet, but I plan on it. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to start making calls to a bunch of these creditors. If anybody knows anything about like negotiating debt that you think would be helpful, if there are any tips or tricks, if you can shoot me an email on that, that'd be great. I think my plan right now is to be relatively honest. I think my parents owe, I think it's around $80,000 to $100,000 of credit card debt. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call the creditors one at a time, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm the son of, these two people. My parents are having health issues. I'm willing to settle this debt. If you do it for half, I'll pay it off completely. Otherwise, you're probably never going to see a dime because their estate can't pay you out once they pass. I don't know if I can get like credit card companies to actually settle that way. I don't know if it'll do it, but if you have like tips or tricks, or if you're like, oh, well, if we try to settle this or that, do this or whatever, if you know any of these, shoot me an email and let me know. Does it have to be ownership, or would you be okay with people fostering the cats? You could foster my... Dude, honestly, I don't give a fuck if you eat the cat. Okay, my parents need to get rid of these cats. Don't actually do that, though. Sure. But yeah, I have to... they're just way too many cats. I'm glad they got down to like 12 or 13. But, hold on real quick. I don't want to get into big debates. Destiny, the problem is you inherit the debt, so if you clear the minister health, you might shoot yourself in the foot. Just as a real quick thing, you absolutely do not inherit liabilities from your parents unless you've co-signed a loan. That is absolutely not true. The only kind of debt you kind of sort of inherit is that when your parents pass on, they have an estate, and that estate will have to pay out creditors before the estate passes to you. But the debt doesn't actually pass to you one-to-one. Do you have a power of attorney set up for your folks before the condition gets worse? I've thought about that. My dad is still in decent health. Like, my dad could theoretically live for another 20, 30 years. I have no idea. He's fine. It's just, yeah. Is the debt in collections? No. I think there might be a payment or two behind on some things, but I think for the most part, their debt is okay. Like, they pay it, yeah. Is it not better to pay their minimums for the rest of their lives? It's too mentally, that's going to be way too much for me to manage, like 15 different credit cards every single fucking month. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Serious question. If someone wants to foster such a cat, do they have to be in Florida if they can pick it up and take it out of state? You don't have to, but again, we live down in Miami, so if you're coming from even Georgia, that's going to be like a 6 or 7 hour fucking drive. What's to stop your parents from racking up debt again? This is a conversation. It's a serious conversation I have to have with my dad. I've thought about doing a credit freeze, and I've thought about asking for power of attorney, but I don't know how that conversation is going to go. I'm not sure. The biggest fear I have is that I do this. The total amount is about $300,000. The biggest fear I have is that I give him this money, and then like 6 months from now, my dad is like, listen, we just want to get this thing, but I got a part-time job. It more than covers it. It's totally fine. We're going to blah, 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 blah. I'll fucking kill myself if they're like, I'm going to kill myself if they rack up that again after paying everything off. Yeah. But I don't think he will, because it's a good opportunity. It's literally him to retire, right? It should be fine. Like I said, they've just made some bad decisions. Why not declare bankruptcy? They've already paid off 2. I think they've done 2 Chapter 13s in their life. Chapter 11? What's the restructured debt one? I think they just paid off the last one. They make a lot of money, so I don't think they can do a bankruptcy. They probably have around 200,000 income a year between retirement benefits and my dad's full-time job. What is the point of paying off the debt? Credit cards can't contact you if they pass me right. Because my dad just found out that my mom really enjoys going on cruises, and she's probably got like 1 or 2 years of like good mental health life left, or decent mental health life left. So it'd be nice if my dad could retire.
After the way at Union Square Park.
And it'd be nice if my dad could retire and just like take care of my mom full time until she has to move into some other thing, rather than right now my dad works full time. And it would just be, it's stupid to see him work full time up until my mom is basically non-communicatable. Whatever, there's a word there, whatever.
Yeah. Get pictures of the cats and throw them up as a DGG limited edition merch drop.
Maybe. Thanks, Crockett, for the tier 5 subber.
Yo.
Okay.
Yo, son, I'm down bad. I need 300K.
Yeah. If you, yeah, but anyway, so if you have any experience negotiating credit card debt, that's big five-figure credit card debt, email for that would just be interesting for people to see before I start making those calls to do that. And then if you have any, and if you live in Miami-Dade County area or anywhere here, and you want a cat, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're spayed and neutered. Almost positive they're updated on all their shots. There's not like crazy medical condition or anything. There's just a lot of them. Yeah, but I think that's about it. Aren't you like 6 brothers? Don't take all the burden. Get your siblings. None of my siblings are in a position to help.
Similar thing, RL. Their debt recurred. Habits need change, but
one of my siblings, I think, scammed my family out of my uncle's estate, who was in charge of managing it after he got killed in that car accident. I'm pretty sure one of the conditions of me giving them this money is going to be to cut that motherfucker completely out of their estate. But I don't know. That might be a hard sell for my parents. But that motherfucker is actually insane to me. But whatever. That's a longer talk we'll have to have probably in a week or two. I think that's... I guess Destiny misspoke.
Destiny, where do you meet women in Miami?
At your mom's house. I meet your mom. Are you the youngest sibling? Second youngest. Can you have them consolidate the debt into a single loan if you don't want to manage several payments? I don't want to do debt consolidation because my goal would be, is if I can. So my parents have around 15 different credit cards with, I think, a total revolving balance of, I think it's around $80,000. It might be $100,000. I think it's around $80,000. If they were to do like a HELOC, for instance, or a debt consolidation loan, my guess is going to be the debt consolidation loan is going to leave them on the hook for all of the money. If I can, it would be nice to call the creditors one at a time, explain the situation, and say I'm willing to settle it for 20 to 50%. I'll make a lump sum payment and close the account. That's why I don't want to do, if I can avoid debt consolidation, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just, also I just pay it. Part of this kick contract is I have a decent chunk of like liquid cash, so I can just pay down everything too. But and then also so here's my drama shit announcement for you. I'm sorry. This month is sucking ass for streaming because I'm probably going to Sweden for around a week in a few days, and then I go to LA for 4 days for 2 or 3 more shows. I'm doing the Minimalist podcast, which I looked up, and it's actually a real podcast. It's decently big with guests, and then I'm doing a Jubilee show. There you go. That's all your dog shit announcements for this month. I'm going to Sweden to divorce Melina in person. What about the GOP debate on August 23rd? I should be back by the 23rd. If you're willing to pay for all their shit, why not just have them cut up the cards and completely ignore them and all debt collection? Then you have to worry about them going back into debt either. Because I don't know what judgments against them. My parents get my parents both get Social Security. My dad gets an Air Force retirement income plus Air Force disability. If they just ignore their debt and they start getting judgments against them, I'm pretty sure that they can start dinging the retirement payments my dad gets. The goal is to leave my dad with one payment, and that's just the mortgage. And if I can just leave him with the mortgage, they can make those payments every month and manage everything. Yeah. They should get moved to debt collectors first. I don't know what that means. Roughly how much money and assets do your parents have? It's hard for me to say. They might have a lot of equity in that house, but I'm just going by Zillow, so it's hard to say. It wouldn't surprise me if their net worth right now was maybe $200,000. Maybe, probably not. Probably less than that, if that. I think they owe about I think they owe around $440,000 on a house that Zillow says is worth $800,000. But right now, their total financial liabilities are north of around $250,000 to $300,000 plus the $400,000 on the mortgage. So they might have $400,000 in equity in their house. Maybe. I have no idea. But that's just what Zillow says, so I don't know. You did hire an estate planning lawyer to help you plan all the ends of the lifestyle. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Assuming my dad lets me all the conditions that I'm going to set. Yeah. Factor in the tax event you get from negotiating down debt. Forgiving debt is considered taxable income to them as well. Might make sense to do part in 2023 and part in 2024. Maybe, actually. How do they have this high of a debt to income? I could be totally wrong. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't think debt to income ratio is a real thing. I know that everybody online, I'm being totally anecdotal here. Everybody online talks about like debt to income ratio, blah, 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 that creditors, blah, blah, blah. That might be a thing. When my uncle died, I think my uncle showed, $14,000 a year on income working at a gas station, and that guy had like $24,000 in credit card debt. I don't know if like creditors actually give a fuck about how much money you make. I think at the end of the day, the only thing they give a fuck about is if you actually make minimum payments. I think if you make minimum payments, I think creditors will just continue to increase the debt that you can have. They'll like max your more and more credit. It's actually fucking insane. But I'm just going by the very limited knowledge I have personally. Maybe it's different. Like what this guy just said, Destiny, I'm a banker. DTI is a real thing. My bank will give you a loan or credit. A bank might not give you a mortgage. But I feel like for credit cards, I feel like your debt to income can be over 100%. And I feel like credit cards will still bump your credit limit up. It's fucking insane. Credit cards are wild. Credit cards are just absolutely wild. For a mortgage or a car loan, probably not. But Jesus. If the lenders are made aware of your mother's declining condition, there will be an incentive to close out the balance sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's kind of my goal. Like, I don't really think I don't think I need to lie. I mean, if I can lie somehow, maybe. But the I'll just tell them like straight up, like I'm their son. I'm offering to pay off their debt. But if you're not going to negotiate with me, then fuck it. I'll let it go to collections after they die. But I don't know. They will not accept less. Oh, I work in collections and you need DVI. I don't know what that means. Limited POA or actually POA. Oh, power of attorney probably. Maybe. I might get it. I don't know. We'll see. And they will not accept less than 50% when none of the cards are in collection. Yeah, maybe. Don't you fuck yourself over by talking so publicly about this? What can I possibly fuck over? Oh, debt versus income. Spam caller. Hello?